Hi, this is a video I've been meaning to make for a while. I want to show you the equipment I use for making my kayak videos. To start with, this is a GoPro Hero 5 Session that I use on my head. As you can see, I've taken the hatch off. The hatch covers the USB-C port that's used for charging and also the micro SD slot. Next we have the head mount strap. This is a standard Amazon branded strap that cost about 10 bucks, 20 bucks, somewhere around there. To which I've got the Hero 5 Sessions skeleton case mounted. On the top strap of the head mount, I've zip tied a Nova Beam USB battery. I chose the Nova Beam because all the important stuff is on the very top. There aren't any ports for water to get in on the sides. Then I have the shortest USB-C cable I could find on Amazon. These globs of white stuff are silicone putty earplugs made for swimmers. The paper here I cut out so that the silicone putty doesn't go into the micro SD slot. I put the camera into the skeleton case and snap it tight. Then I take the USB cable and plug it in and try and form the silicone putty around to keep the water out. This is not a 100% solution and will not protect your camera from sustained immersions, but for brief splashes and the sort of immersion you get when you fall in and immediately come out again, it seems to be adequate. You can see some signs of rust in the USB slot on the USB battery, which reaffirms what I said about this not being 100% waterproof. Slot the cable in and form the putty around as best you can to cover up both the input and output USB ports. These Nova Beam batteries have a very bad habit of turning themselves off if you're not putting a load on them immediately. So therefore I always plug it in just before I'm turning on the camera at the race. If the cable is properly seated and the battery is charged up, you should see a light right where I pointed right there. You should also see a charging icon on the screen of the camera here. So obviously I don't have this set up properly. I don't think the battery is properly charged. Yesterday when I was paddling, a strainer pulled the camera and strap off my head and I nearly lost the camera. So I'm going to investigate some way of attaching the head strap to my body. Here's some other mounting options I don't use very much anymore. This is a suction cup mounting I bought off Amazon for about 30 bucks. It's called a Panavice. I've had this mount for a number of years and it seems to have seized up a bit right now, but before it did, the head could tilt and pivot however you wanted and you had a lot of flexibility mounting the camera. There's another adjustment at the bottom here, that one still works, and the suction cup was very strong, especially when you push that lever, and it's never fallen off. I used this camera mount on the back of my boat at the Canadian Surf Ski Championships and many other places in waves and wind. Another mount I don't use very much anymore are the stick-on mounts that sometimes come with GoPros and sometimes come with accessory packs. This is my GoPro Hero 5 Black. Or should I say my second GoPro Hero 5 Black, because I used to do the putty trick like I do with my Session, but I ruined the camera when it dumped. You see, when the camera's on the front of the boat, it spends more time in the water than the one on your head when you fall in. And it turns out there's now a better solution than the putty trick for the Hero 5 Black, and this is what I call a Sidecar Battery. There are about 3 different brands on Amazon now, and I just bought the cheapest one. So again, with the door taken off, you plug this in and it plugs into the USB-C port on the camera. Then you can see the battery lit up. Now what I do is I start up the camera, and ideally I want to get everything rolling before I put it in the camera case, just because I don't know how well that button on the outside is going to work. But it gives you about 4.5 hours of recording time, so there's plenty of time to get it set up and working before the race, as long as you're willing to edit out the boring part at the beginning. With the case done up, it's pretty waterproof. You can see some debris here from when I dragged it through the mud yesterday when I fell in at that strainer. But I'm pleased to say no water got to the camera and it kept recording through that incident. And here we come to the last piece, the mount on my boat. This mount was made for me by Jim Smith, who has a YouTube channel where he has many innovative designs for surf ski. Normally I attach it firmly to the boat with this pipe clamp as per Jim's instructions. Yesterday I was experimenting with using zip ties instead and only used the pipe clamp as a backup. It seemed to work okay, and I think taking the zip ties off is a lot easier than taking off a pipe clamp. But I'll retain the pipe clamp backup until I've tested this in waves. I haven't tested the theory, but the pool noodle is there to give it enough flotation so that if the mount fell off your boat, your camera would continue to float. This is a standard stick-on GoPro mount, and I just slide my GoPro Black on there, and then I have this little tether that I can attach the camera to in case the adhesive goes on the stick-on. I've still got a stick-on mount on the boat that is left over from before I had the good mount, and I still use it every now and then.